Hi everybody, Hetty here. Happy holidays, happy new year. I wanted to gift you all some movement medicine during this kind of wild time of year. This is a double dose because we're going to be using some props. So you will need a resistance band for this video. This is a medium resistance Franklin Method band. If you have another brand, great, go and grab it. You can also grab your Franklin Method balls if you have them. If you don't, no worries. You can just use your hands or any other kind of soft-ish ball. So go ahead and take a seat. If you don't have a chair, you can do this standing as well. I will sit because I'm tired. So we'll find our sit bones on the chair or feet on the floor, and you're gonna use your band right away. So we're gonna put it right at our upper back, at our shoulder blades area. You can wrap the band once around your hand so you don't have to make tight fists to hold. And you're gonna press your arms forward until you feel the resistance of the band on your upper back. And then around your back into the band. So we're flexing the spine from tail to head. Then open up your arms, allowing the band to press into your back so that you can find extension of the spine. Lifting your gaze, lifting your heart. And then rounding the spine and lifting the heart. Moving at your own pace, just a few rounds. Seeing if you can move and mindfully, deliberately breathe at the same time. Lovely, one more round. And then come back to center. You're gonna bring the band to your middle back. We're gonna find some rotation of the spine. So rotating to your left, pressing your right arm a little further away from you, and then rotating right, pressing the left arm a little further away from you. Just noticing how that feels in your body. Moving with a little bit of resistance can be a real treat for your muscles. Keep going. Notice if you're breathing or holding your breath. Choose to breathe. And you don't have to be super rigid in the rest of your body. Your hips and your legs can just kind of follow along, go along for the ride. And then you can press your arm, whichever arm you're pressing, press it down towards the floor as you rotate. And you can press up high towards the sky as you rotate. Just changing the movement a little bit. And one more round. And then come back to center. You're going to take the band to your low back now, doing the first movement we did, rounding and extending the spine, or flexion, so rounding your back into the band, and then opening up your arms to extend the spine. And where the band is touching is where you're going to be bringing your attention for the movement. So the whole spine moves, but there's a little bit more awareness or initiation of movement from the low back. And keep moving, keep breathing, going at your own pace. Just one more round. And then you're going to take the band away from your back and hold it out in front of you. So about shoulder distance or a little bit wider. And you're going to pull the band as wide apart as possible, feeling the shoulder blades move towards each other and your back body. And then slowly let the arms come back to center, pulling the band away, hands away from each other and coming back to center. Just do this a few more times. Again, noticing if you're holding your breath or holding any tension in the facial muscles. See if you can let that go. And just one more time. Good, and then reach your arms up as high as they can comfortably go. I know you can't see my hands too well, but it doesn't really matter because we're gonna side bend over to the left and then pull the hands apart. Getting a nice big stretch for that right armpit. And then come back up through center, side bend over to the right and pull the hands apart. coming back up through center. Every time you come up through center, release the pull. And then pull as you side bend and come back up. Pull apart as you side bend and come back up. You can take your hands a little further forward, right? And do the same thing. So you're just changing your arm position as you pull the band. Or you can go a little higher up or even slightly behind your head, right? But again, just staying in your comfort range, not pushing your body in any way. Another round or two. Good. And then slowly coming back to center. You can put the band down for a few moments. We'll come back to it in a minute. You're gonna grab the two balls if you have them. If not, you'll use a light fist. We're gonna give our sternum and clavicles or collarbones a little tap. So I'll show you with the balls. If you're not using the balls, using a light fist. So tap, tap, tap. And then you're gonna reach the right arm out to the side. You're gonna tap all across the arm until the two balls or your two hands touch, and then come back through center, right, through your sternum, left clavicle, left arm reaches out until the two hands and balls touch, and we're gonna keep going. So we're finding a little reach, a little opening through the ribs. Again, a little bit of rotation. You don't need to glue your feet or your hips to the floor or chair. They can go along for the ride. The body tends to move quite well when you let the movement translate all the way down. It's just one more time to each side. Tap, 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 tap. Breathe, 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 breathe. And then come back to center. You're gonna tap your lungs. So from the collarbones to the ribs and all the way down to the lowest ribs, the side body. If you can get to the back body a little bit, go for it. And then tap your abdomen, tap your thighs, inner thighs, outer thighs, backs of thighs, those hamstring muscles. And then tap around the knees and tap around the shins and the calves. And if you can reach your feet, tap your feet. And while you're down here, you can stay holding the balls or just let them go. And then let your head drop, coming into a moment of rest in a forward fold. If this doesn't feel good for any of you, you can always come to a half forward fold, just resting your hands on your thighs and letting your chin drop. Possibly a little sway here. And then we'll slowly roll on up, coming back to center. So we're gonna do two things at once. And we're gonna take our TheraBand. We're gonna bring it to the first place we had it, which is our upper back. We're gonna drop the two ends over our shoulders, so it's really snug on our back. I'll turn around so you can see it. And then you're gonna cross the band behind you, really snug. Okay? And then you can hold the two ends. So I call this a little posture backpack because it feels so nice. We don't have to work too hard to sit up tall. And then once you're there, you're gonna roll your shoulders back. And then roll your shoulders forward. Good. And then roll one shoulder back at a time. And then roll one shoulder forward at a time. And then just a little feet love here. So I'll move the camera so you can see my feet. I'm keeping the band on my shoulders. So we're just gonna bring the weight to the outer edges of the feet, lifting the inner edges up, and then bringing the weight to the inner edges of the feet, lifting the outer edges up. You're gonna do that a few times. Yeah, and if it's not great, if you feel off balance, you can do 1 foot at a time, no problem. And you can still do this seated. Okay? And then you're gonna shift your weight to your toes, possibly lifting the heels, shift your weight to your heels, lifting the toes. And do that a few times, shifting forward and back. All the while, the band is helping the shoulders release some tension. And then finding your 2 feet evenly on the floor. I'll come back to my seat. And lastly, with the band on the shoulders, we're gonna lift the shoulders up towards the ears, squeeze up high, and then drop them down. Squeeze up high and drop them down. One more time. And then take the band away. Just let it drop behind you. Give your hands a little shake. And then come to a place of stillness, closing your eyes for a moment. Tapping into your most powerful resource, your breath. And just noticing your body, how you feel. And taking one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly, letting all the air out of your lungs. Inhaling through the nose and gently sighing the air out the mouth. Thank you so much for following along. If you didn't see the last video, go back. You don't need any bands for that one. Again, I'm so grateful for all of you out there who follow along with me and who come to my class. Happy New Year. Mwah.